We interrupt this program to bring you
Dirty South, dirty. Can y'all really feel me? East Coast, feel me. West Coast, feel me. Dirty South, dirty. Can y'all really feel me? I got East, feel me. West, feel me.
Boy, I've been watching you like the hawk in the sky. You are my prey. Boy, I promise you, if we keep bumping heads, I know that one of these days we gon' hook it up, probably talk on the phone. But see, I don't know if that's good. I've been holding back this secret from you. I probably should.
Get Out was released February 24, 2017 as Jordan Peele's first feature film. It received a ton of critical acclaim not only for its original and compelling plot, but for its representation of black people in horror and its racial themes explored in the movie. Get Out was so culturally impactful because the only other horror film to have a black man be the main protagonist and not be the first to die was Night of the Living Dead, which was released in 1968. Aside from horror comedy B-movies like Tales from the Hood, Leprechaun in the Hood, and Bones, Night of the Living Dead was the closest thing black people had to true representation in horror. So to see a genuine psychological horror film depict such an eerie representation of racism in America was not only refreshing but revolutionary. It opened a whole new door for black people in the horror genre that wasn't there before. However, Get Out also unfortunately and unintentionally became the new precedent for which every black horror film must now follow, which is why Get Out was both a blessing and a curse. What I love about Get Out is that despite the racial themes, it still works as a standalone horror film. The plot consists of a clever mixture of Being John Malkovich, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and Night of the Living Dead. Its influences are noticeable, yet it still feels original. And if you were to remove Daniel Kaluuya and replace him with, say, Miles Teller or any white actor, the film still works as an abduction film about a man trying to escape his girlfriend's crazy family. This is why I don't despise Jordan Peele's work. Just take a look at Us. Us is a film that has absolutely nothing to do with race whatsoever. It's a horror movie about killer doppelgangers that just so happens to star a black family instead of a white family like we're used to seeing. But Us doesn't hyper-focus on the fact that this family is black. And this is what true representation feels like, allowing black and brown people of color to take on unconventional roles and allow us to be seen without always feeling the need to make our race or our trauma the focal point of the story. But y'all knew that wasn't gonna last long. Them is an Amazon Prime original series about a black family that moves into a white suburban neighborhood where malevolent things happen. Bad Hair is a Hulu original film about a black woman in the 80s who gets a weave to succeed in white America only to find out her hair is haunted. Antebellum is a film about a black author that's kidnapped and taken to a Civil War reenactment museum. It's sad that Hollywood can't seem to make a compelling horror film starring black people that doesn't surround our trauma. Quite frankly, Hollywood in general seems completely incapable of telling compelling black stories that aren't about race or oppression. Think of the most critically acclaimed black films you know. That's right, The Color Purple, The Help, and 12 Years a Slave. Sure, movies like Moonlight and Love Jones are nice when we get them, but it's well known that Hollywood tends to hyper-focus on black trauma for entertainment. And it's sad that this has also trickled down to the horror genre, seeing as black people just started getting representation in scary movies. But Jordan Peele alone isn't responsible for the way the media highlights black trauma. So let's shift back to horror films. Dear Hollywood, stop trying to remake Get Out. Get Out is not the criterion for black horror films. Black horror films shouldn't even be a thing. Don't create a subgenre for black people when we wouldn't do the same for other races. Do we call The Shining or Friday the 13th white horror films? No, because we also don't center those movies around the experiences of white people. Not that white people experience oppression, but you get the point. It's like, if Get Out was never made, I undoubtedly believe that there wouldn't be as much black representation in horror as there is now. And while I love seeing my people in more scary and unconventional roles, if it's all going to be performative and traumatizing, what's the point? Which is why it pains me to say that Get Out was a blessing and a curse, opening doors for so many black actors and actresses while unknowingly limiting the extent to which black people in horror can go. We don't want to see 1,000 lackluster versions of Get Out. Nobody wants a horror movie about black people getting killed by cops or possessed by enslaved ancestors or oppressed by societal beauty standards. At least not all the time. We want to run from serial killers and escape haunted houses and defeat monsters and ghouls. So as culturally impactful as Get Out was, can we please stop using it as the prototype for black people in horror? Thank you.